Thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show. Let's talk. My name is Patricia. Please press like and subscribe. And please share this audio with someone who you may think need it. Now, this is part two of electrons. We're breaking down about God, what God is. The last audio, I spoke to you about God being in the electronic light. So let's pick up from there. Now, the electron, you have the atoms, the electron. That's the electron I'm speaking about, the electrons in your body. Now, the last part one, we were talking about how God is in everyone. So now I was telling you that I thought when I was younger that God was a spirit and he was in everything. But that didn't go well in my mind, because in my mind I was thinking, so how does his spirit get into everything? And what do you mean his spirit is in everything? I just didn't really understand it. When I was being taught about God and the knowledge came to me that God is inside of us, a little portion was in our heart center and the rest was in the electron. And that light that's in the electron is called the divine light. That light in the electron is divine light. And no negative thinking or anything can touch it. You can't reach it. So I went over a little bit telling you how your negative thinking slows that electron down, bringing negativity to the body and the illness. And when you think positive, it speeds it up, healing the body and removing the negativity from the body. So now that was part one. This is part two. Now, again, that electron is called, the light in that electron is God, and it is called God's divine light. Now, I am not saying that the electron is God. I am saying that the light within that electron is God's divine light, because that's what it is. What you have to understand, God is not on a throne. God is light. And that divine light that swirls around the electron is God's divine light. Now, so I want you to really think about this now. God is in everything because that electronic light is in everything. Everything of substance is made from an atom. Okay? You can go back to your science lesson in school and try to brush up on atoms. But everything is made of an atom. So everything on this earth is made from an atom. There's nothing on this earth that's not made from an atom. And from the atom, you have the electron. So that when God created the universe, God put his divine light in the electron, which is in everything. So that's how you can make the statement that God is in everything, because God's divine light lies in that electron, which is in everything. That makes far better sense than you trying to figure out how God got his spirit in everything. You know what I mean? Because if you were like me, like I thought of a spirit being in the shape of a human body, you know what I mean? That's where I thought a spirit was, the shape of a physical body. So I'm like, well, how that physical body get into everything? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But really, If you break it down, I mean, really break it down, now I understand it much better. The spirit is energy. It's all energy. The light is energy. It's all energy. So it's basically the way if I'd have had the knowledge back then, I would have been thinking, well, oh, the spirit is energy. So when they say that God is in everything, they're simply saying that God's energy is in everything. That's what they're saying. But I didn't understand it like that because I didn't know anything about energy or anything like that. So I'm just trying to, focus my mind on God and how did that get in everything. Okay. So, but what they really mean, they probably don't even know what they mean when they say God is in everything. But what they mean is that God's energy is in all things. So now this is what I'm telling you is going a little step further by telling you that when God created everything, that is where he put his energy in that electron. And so that light, there is a light that circles around the electron. And that light is God's divine light. Now, I'm not telling you anything the science is not going to say that God is that light. Clearly they're not. But they definitely could tell you that there is a light that circles around that electron. That light, the electron kind of floats in orbit, and it floats, with this light. It just floats in orbit. So yes, they could say, yeah, there's a light that's in the electron. You see what I mean? But they're not going to tell you that's God's light, clearly. But I'm just saying, like, scientifically, excuse me, there is a light there. I'm telling you that that light is God's divine light, and it cannot be touched by man at all. Not at all. So the negative thinking you have and all this stuff, in other words, it can't go into that electron and destroy it. It can't, because negativity can't touch that electron light, that divine light in the electron. It cannot touch it. Okay? So anyway, that's how God is in all things. Now, you know how they say everything is alive and nothing is dead? I used to hear them say, oh, if you take a piece of paper and crunch on it, the paper know you crunched on it. I mean, balled it up. You know how you take a piece of paper and ball it up? The paper knows that you balled it up. I used to think, that's a piece of paper. How can the paper know that you balled it up? Well, when I understood about God, I understood that. Because what it said, everything is alive. God is not dead. God's light is in everything, and everything is alive. So now if you take a piece of paper and ball it up, it's the awareness. That light is alive and it's aware. So it's an awareness that paper is being crushed up. That I understand now, and I did not understand it before. When you kill a fly, and I used to go around just killing flies when they're in the house, just killing them. But I remember when my youngest daughter was born, and she was a little girl, and if I would kill a fly, she would like, no, no. And I just thought she was crazy. You know what I'm saying? She didn't want you to kill a fly. She was so sensitive. This is how children are very sensitive to God and the spiritual world, period, because she didn't want you to kill a fly. She could feel that or sense that or know something to not, she didn't want you to kill a fly. So it is said that we shouldn't kill anything because everything is alive and you shouldn't kill anything. You understand what I mean? So everything is one. That is true because we are what? All divine light. That's how we're one. Everything is divine light. So now that TV in front of you, your TV looks like it's steel and it's sitting there. But if you had a special microscope, you will see that energy doesn't stand still. Energy is constantly moving and constantly evolving. So that TV that you see sitting there still with a special microscope or equipment, it wouldn't be still. You would see that it wasn't still. It would be right there jumping around, moving around, going to the front, going to the side, going to the back. That's how energy does. Energy is never standing in one place, right? So if you hit it or kill it, not kill it, but like kill a fly or whatever, it's aware of it. Awareness. The awareness is there because it's God's awareness. Now, that's going to take a moment for you all to get that. Some people might get it right away, some people might not. But the bottom line is God knows when you crush an ant. God knows when you wrap up a piece of paper. What do you call that? Ball up a piece of paper. God knows everything when you touch it. Right now I'm talking about trying to do harm to it. God knows. Why? Because that divine electronic light is in everything, and it has awareness of everything that's happening. Okay? So that's what they meant by that. God is always, when I was a little girl, people would say, God always watching you. He can see everything you do. I really thought he was somewhere just looking at you. You know what I'm saying? I used to think he was somewhere looking at you. But that's not true at all. It's the awareness. We go back to the awareness. Everything is alive on this planet. There is nothing that is dead because of God's awareness. Now, we have been given dominion. So you might say, how does this apply to our life? We have been given dominion over all things. The Bible had that right when it said that. So you've been given your light. Let me explain this. Everything is the divine light. Everything. That TV, you, the plant, the fly you stepping on, everything have divine light. However, we are God's greatest creation because we were made in the image and the likeness of God. Okay? We are God's greatest creation. I'm going to say that again. Because we were made in the image and the likeness of God. So now, what does that mean? When I was young, my friends, they used to debate. I was a little girl, about six or seven. But I remember this. We would say, oh, God looked like me, or he looked like me, or, we would do that. And what did you think when they say God looked like you? Not God looked like you, but God, you're made in the image of God. You probably thought he's a human because you identify yourself with being a human. So you might have thought, well, he's a human. And then some of you might have thought, well, he's a spirit because you identify yourself as being a spirit. I think I identified him as being a spirit. But as I grew in knowledge and understanding, I realized that God was this magnificent light. And I was really that magnificent light. So when they say that I'm born and made in the image of God, I knew like God was light, I'm light. That's the image. It's not that he's a spirit walking around or a human walking around and I look just like him, or I have hands and he have hands. No, because this isn't the real you. Your physical body is what you need to occupy in order to come into this earth. Without that physical body, you cannot come into this earth. Oh, my 15 minutes is up. I'll have to end. I will pick this up in part 3. Thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show.